All right. We are streaming live onto the United Matters channel, and finally, Lammens to Man United. It's a here we go. That means when you hear a here we go for Lammens, that means the deal of a man known as Emiliano Martinez is totally off. Fabrizio Romano told us that Manchester United is still in talks with Lammens as they also talk with Emi Martinez. I know, even me, if you asked me, who would you obviously see yourself become the goalkeeper signing for the club of Manchester United this summer, I would obviously go in for Emi Martinez. But looks like Man United had been so much sold into signing a man known as Lammens, and this is where United went ahead to obviously trick the sides of Antwerp, where this guy really plays for, and they were like, we are obviously going in for another proven goalkeeper if at all you're not obviously accepting the amount of money that you're really getting you. What was the cause for really delaying this? Here we go. I'm obviously going to be explaining to you this in pure detail. Now, what does it mean for Emiliano Martinez? Huge question. And then, what does it mean for a player called Lammens? And lastly, we're also going to be discussing about Jordan Sancho, another player that has gone ahead to leave on the deadline day, and he has left Manchester United to obviously join a club known as Aston Villa on loan. And obviously, I'm going to be coming out here to really discuss with you the details of this so-called deal into the mix. Now, smash the like button, comment, and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokan David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun and you are really watching in here for the biggest time in here for you. So I want you guys to subscribe because we want to hit 22,000 subscribers in here, and after that the rest will be history in the making. Now, let's obviously get into the big story, but before we get to the big story, we really have a sponsor in here. He goes by the names of La Grande Photography. La Grande Photography, they are dealers in what we call photos. They do host events. That is what we call La Grande events in there for you. They've gone ahead to obviously join us on this channel, and they're really our proud sponsors in here. And I think you see everything really going on well. So as you see, they do host school MDDs, prom parties, and they do really do the 360 spin machine vibe. So you can as well go ahead and obviously call them on those numbers, and you'll thank me later. You'll tell me, Rokani, you really gave us a deal. And if you have an event, call those numbers. They have the sound systems, they have big tents, they do mass marketing, they do a lot of things that you need to obviously come up and obviously fall into their category. And when you fall into their category, you won't really look back because they are really special and they're really that pure good. So if you feel like you want to be part of the advertisement, please go into the contact, and there is an email down there. You will obviously be told what to do, and our rates will be equally communicated to you. But La Grande is the first sponsor to come onto this channel this year, and it's really a blessing to obviously work with him. And I know the clients here onto the United Matters channel will obviously call those numbers, and when you call those numbers, tell them that it's Rokani's channel that has gone ahead obviously get this ad on, and please, may all I'm in need of your services, and they will really treat you well and better, so that is it for La Grande, and really welcome La Grande onto the United Matters channel. Now, exclusive came in through from David Austin, like some 1.5 hours ago, that Manchester United reached total agreement with Royal Antwerp to sign Senne Lmens. Deal for 23-year-old Royal Antwerp goalkeeper worth 21 million euros plus add-ons, no sell on, 5 years term. Belgium international flying in to complete medical for all on the deadline day at the stadium of Manchester United, or the training ground known as Carrington. And it's the man that really went ahead to break the bomber. He goes by the names of He's the man who has gone ahead, obviously drop the bomber. He goes by the names of David Austin, dropping the bomber in a very pure and perfect way in there about this particular deal altogether for the club of Manchester United. And the goalkeeper is in, and from there we obviously went ahead, obviously get Fabrizio Romano, drop his bomber too, that Manchester United agree 21 million euro plus add-ons on deal with Royal Antwerp for Senne Lammens. Here we go. Agreement in place for Belgian goalkeeper to join Manchester United immediately. Deal said to be sealed after medical. Deal also included add-ons, as David Austin really reports. That's what we got in through from the man himself, known as Fabrizio Romano. Now, it shows you that he is the chosen one to obviously come in through and become the first choice goalkeeper of the club of Manchester United. And for this, it really remains for us to obviously come in through and really see whether he's obviously going to take the top spot at the club of Manchester United, or someone else will obviously take the whole spot, the top spot. Has he gone ahead to come in through as the first choice goalkeeper? Or they've gone ahead to obviously try to obviously come in through and really increase the competition between Andre Onana and this player who goes by the names of Lammens. But according to the Times, I've gone ahead obviously see these transfers really go on and really happen. I don't think that a club can spend 21 million euros on a backup goalkeeper. To me, he comes in through as a first choice goalkeeper. And when Man United is playing away at Man City, I highly anticipate that Lmens will be that lad responsible to be in between the stitches for the club of Manchester United. No club spends that amount of money on a backup goalkeeper. Prove me wrong if you really know one of those. No club goes ahead to spend that amount of money on what we call a backup goalkeeper. You understand? All I understand is that this goalkeeper is not a backup. This goalkeeper is obviously what we call a first choice goalkeeper. That is it. He's a first choice goalie, and I think it really leaves it really creates space for either the departure of a player called Andre Onana or Beinda, because one of those two really has to leave today. He has to leave today, because if he doesn't leave today, I don't know when he will ever go ahead and obviously leave, because the club of Manchester United is really working tooth and nail to see to it that this really happens, and they are really pushing to find a deal for a possible exit of one of those goalkeepers, as you cannot really have them here, as we are obviously going to be playing almost one tournament. We are not in Europe. We are out of the Carabao Cup, and we are only left to play in the Premier League and the FA Cup that will obviously come in through during the year of 2026, that is January. So when you look at all that, you obviously have to understand that the deal of a goalkeeper has to obviously happen, and one of the goalies has to leave. But we wait and see how that pans out, because you can't be having all those three goalkeepers when they're really first choice and you're really paying huge amount of money for them. You understand? If you're really paying huge amounts of money for them, then it really goes ahead to see to it that it doesn't really work out well for you as the person responsible into the mix. So as it stands, the side of Manchester United is really gonna really love this, because Amorim now has the goalkeeper that he really wants. I really understand what the manager is really going in through, but he now has the manager, but he now really has a player that he feels like he wants, and he wants to obviously have at the club of Manchester United, because he has obviously shown us that Andre Onana is not into his plans. And if you are really a manager like him, all what you would want is to see to it that he really get backed by the board. And has the board gone ahead to back the man that you're talking about in this particular aspect, who goes by the names of Ruben Amorim? The answer is yes. The board has fully gone ahead to obviously back this manager, and I don't think that he will at any one time come out and obviously say that he was not really backed by the board, because he has called in for goalkeeper. They've gone ahead to give him the goalkeeper, and I tell you what, nothing will obviously stop him from obviously doing the needful and obviously putting in a very huge shift as a person who has been really fully facilitated by the board of Manchester United. Fully support, I think, he has gotten from the board, because they've gotten you Matthias Cunha, they've gotten you Matthias Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, Benjamin Sheshko, and they've gone ahead to get you a goalkeeper that you've gone ahead to call in for. So the lad known as Lammens is on plane to obviously come to Manchester and really undergo his medical, and very soon we'll be letting you know where he is and where he has gone ahead to reach. But Lammens also had another approval from a man known as Jacobs Ben. And Jacobs Ben said, breaking, Senne Lammens to Man United is done deal. 21 million euros plus add-ons, no sell on, 5-year contract, player traveling to Manchester. Emi Martinez considered, but Lammens was the top choice. Antwerp keeper looked at all summer as revealed. And this is where I obviously feel like Jacobs Ben is really disappointing me a little bit, because if you look at Jacobs Ben, there is a quote that he obviously went ahead to obviously quote back. You know, when Fabrizio Romano talked about Emiliano Martinez coming to Manchester United, he went ahead and obviously quoted one of his statements that he made way back in July, when United was in for Emiliano Martinez, and was like, yeah, this is the goalkeeper that they obviously wanted to sign. And I'm like, what is my tier one journalist doing to himself? To me, it was an embarrassment. Sorry, by then it wasn't an embarrassment, but right now, to me, it's an embarrassment, because if you come out and obviously tell us that now they've been chasing, he has been the first choice, and yesterday you told us that, as I reported in July, United had this guy in on their list. You understand? So I'm really perturbed a little bit, but I really trust Jacobs Ben when it comes to obviously doing this. And he has said they looked at him as revealed by Alex Krok into the mix. So the side of Manchester United also got this deal approved by the side of a team called by the side of these journalists, and that is Alex Krok coming in through and obviously doing the needful to obviously prove the deal. So 21 million euros have gone ahead obviously coming through to see United get this deal done and dusted, and the player is obviously coming in to see to it that all really goes on well as planned. So as it stands, the goalkeeper is in, right? And it's not Emiliano Martinez. I know most of the fans of Man United are really disappointed because they wanted Emiliano Martinez. I know. Even me, if you told me about the two, Emiliano Martinez would have gone ahead to be the answer, because I believe him being 32 years of age, he would have gone ahead to obviously complement this squad very well. You know, experience is needed a little bit. If you're keeping Harry Maguire here, you know, and you're really having other players like the Brunos, I think getting in a 32-year-old goalkeeper is really something great. But if you listen to United and what they're really thinking, they're thinking vice versa, all otherwise. And what are they really thinking? They're thinking that the club of Manchester United needed this goalie, who is 23 years of age and who is really anticipated to be one of the best in the world when it comes to his age. And they're like, if you're really building a project and you want to obviously have a goalkeeper that you're going to keep for long, he should be the lad. Let us get him in and fit him into this squad and see to it that he really ticks the box as well. It's one of the risks that United did way back in 2011 when Edwin van der Sar left the club of Manchester United, and they went and brought in a guy called David De Gea. And for David De Gea, he was 4 years younger than Lammens, because De Gea came in through the age of 19. First 1-2 seasons were really horrible for him, but he later picked up, and when he picked up, he never really looked back as a player. He really put in a very huge shift, and I tell you what, he will obviously be remembered as one of the best goalies at Manchester United. And after Peter Schmeichel, Edwin van der Sar, he comes in through as the third choice best goalkeeper at the club of Manchester United in history. Though he really went ahead to really break very many records that these other goalkeepers never broke. But the difference these people went ahead to make in their careers at Manchester United is that one, all of those went ahead to win a Champions League. You know, a trophy that David De Gea hasn't or never won with Manchester United. You know that very well. You understand? Then, David De Gea won a Premier League with Sir Alex Ferguson, but the difference is the others went ahead to win multiple Premier Leagues. When you look at Edwin van der Sar, I think he walked away with 5 Premier Leagues. 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2007, 2008, 2009. Then we skipped one there that we never won. And I think we won one. You know, after winning one, City came in through and really won it, 2010, 2011. And United went ahead, obviously, win it in 2011, 2012. And Edwin van der Sar was like, I'm really hanging up my boots. That's when he really went ahead to leave the club of Manchester United. So I want to let him know that this club of Manchester United is really not going to sit back like that and really not go back to their history. And maybe they're like, if you're trying to bring in young players in every department, why not obviously bring in a young goalkeeper? Because we've gone ahead to see these experiments of young goalkeepers really work out. You understand? Ederson came in through at Man City 8 years back, and I think he was a young goalkeeper. I've given you an example of David De Gea. He came in through at Manchester United, and he was a young goalkeeper. Aaron Ramsdale at Arsenal for the seasons was there. I think came in through at the age of 21. He was a young goalkeeper, though they went in for someone better in David Raya. Liverpool brought in Alisson Becker when he was not all that. I think he was 23 years of age. I think that's when he came in through at the club of Liverpool. So very many clubs. Iker Casillas stepped in between the stitches for the side of Real Madrid between, I think, 16 to 17 years of age and went on to be one of the best goalkeepers in the world. So this experiment has gone ahead, obviously, work elsewhere, and United have been like, why not obviously try it out with our particular club and see how things really go ahead to obviously happen and really pan out into the best way possible. So Lmens comes in through as one of those people that are really doing a very, 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 very great job, as Manchester United is really doing the needful to see to it that all really goes on well as planned here onto our beautiful channel. So the club of Manchester United is doing the due diligence to obviously coming through and really sign players for the manager. But Emiliano Martinez is on the lips of very many of you, I really understand. And you're asking yourselves, why did Manchester United really have to obviously go in for Lammens and not go in for the player? And that will be a story for another day, because I think we really have lots of things to discuss about in here. But Fabrizio Romano has dropped another hint onto a player known as Emiliano Martinez. And looks like Emiliano Martinez wants out. He wants out of Aston Villa and is still pushing to leave the club of Aston Villa. And we've been told by Fabrizio Romano that after Manchester United proceeding with Senne Lammens deal, solutions are being explored for Dibu Martinez. Argentine goalkeeper being discussed, World Galatasaray in the recent hours. So Argentina goalkeeper being discussed with Galatasaray in the recent hours. So I think United have missed out on a very good goalie. And I don't know exactly what the price of Emiliano Martinez would have gone ahead to be. Premier League proven goalkeeper coming in through. He knows what the Premier League is all about. And we finally found ourselves in a position of really losing out onto a guy who I think would have gone ahead to be the best choice. But Lmens is in, and we wait to see how he really goes ahead to really do the needful in between the stitches for the club of Manchester United. Welcome Lmens to the club of Manchester United. He is obviously going to be the first choice goalkeeper for Manchester United. As I told you at the beginning of the video, that there is no way you are obviously going to come out and really spend that amount of money on a player, especially a goalkeeper. 21 million euros for a goalkeeper, that's a lot of money. By the way, most goalkeepers range in between 20 and 35. That's why you said Donnarumma is in that bracket, you know. When you look at the goalkeeper of Arsenal, David Raya, 27 million pounds from Brentford to the club of Arsenal, you know, and a few goalkeepers really range between or beyond 30 million pounds, and those goalkeepers are really proven ones, you know, like Alisson Becker. I think he came in through for 70 million euros. A goalkeeper known as Andre Onana came in through at Manchester United for 40 million euros. And we all know to eat that he really played in the Champions League finale and he really looked good. And even others that have gone ahead obviously cost a lot of money. The Kepa Zabalagas of this world, where Chelsea went ahead obviously spend 80 million euros onto the player, and he's the most expensive goalkeeper in the world, by the way, in world history in there for you. So that is the club of Manchester United, and the goalkeeper is in for now. Now, let me go into the comment section and see what you guys have to say about Senne Lmens. Emmanuel Nyerowo, fantastic. Then Hachilala, thanks RD for the update, and may God continue blessing you in all your endeavors. Hachilala, watching from Zambia. How are you, my brother from Zambia? All Port Charles, what about Emiliano Martinez? For me, I like him because of his experience. Me too. That was the reason I was really giving, because I believe he is really a proven guy and he would have gone ahead to really put in a very huge shift altogether. But I tell you what, it has been impossible for him to come to Manchester United. A lot has not obviously played in his favor to come in through and really put in a very huge shift altogether for the club of Manchester United in his endeavors. But we really know to it that a lot will obviously come into play, and this guy will obviously get well, and United will obviously see this one fit in well like a glove into that goalkeeping department for the club of Manchester United. But Emiliano Martinez, I know many of you wanted him at the club of Manchester United, right? But it has not been, it hasn't gone ahead to be possible for him to obviously come in through, as United had Senne Lmens as their first choice. Kakuru Robert Aradi, why is Amorim not playing Benjamin Sesko? That's a huge question, but it's the choices that he makes, and there are certain things that are really beyond our reach. We obviously understand that the club of Manchester United really needs more and 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 more of Benjamin Sesko to obviously get in those minutes in, but it looks like the club is really not even going to this manager and obviously telling him exactly what he should be doing. Because when you are the manager of Manchester United, why don't you do what other clubs are really doing? You know, the argument in there that has been tabled by many of us when it comes to our goalkeeping department, or Benjamin Sesko and very many others, is that other clubs who have gone ahead obviously bring in players in those positions, they've gone ahead obviously give them ample playing time. That's exactly what we've gone ahead to get from other clubs. So the club of Manchester United looks like they want to be an old man out. You know, Arsenal went ahead to bring in Victor Gyökeres, who never had a very good pre-season, you know, because he was all in Sweden, never even went ahead obviously train with Sporting Lisbon. And guess what happened? Arsenal is playing him even 90 minutes. You saw him in the game of Leeds, he played 90 minutes. Yesterday, he went ahead to play 90 minutes as Arsenal lost to Liverpool. You know, he started the game of Manchester United and played 60 minutes in there for you. They got him off and they went ahead to bring in a player called... when they brought him in, and they brought on Kai Havertz, right? After bringing on Kai Havertz, the next game he started, and yesterday he started. Look at Liverpool, Hugo Ekitike. He's starting every game. And it's only Manchester United that he's not starting their most expensive signing of the summer transfer window. And that really beats my understanding as a fan of Manchester United. As you've gone ahead to ask the question, it also really keeps me contemplating on whether the manager doesn't really do this. Why doesn't he obviously go ahead to obviously do the needful and really start this guy? Yet we all know to it that he said he wanted a striker, and it really beats my understanding that now he cannot obviously start him in. Again, we don't want you people to complain about goalkeeping. For me, I'm not complaining about goalkeeping. If I'm Manchester United, I would have foregone to obviously sign a goalkeeper and really bring in a midfielder, because United is really having problems in its midfield. And people will see it in the due course of the season. I don't know whether in the remaining time, United can obviously pursue a CDM that can partner with Casemiro, Ugarte, or Kobe Mainoo into the mix. But we'll wait to see how that pans out, because I know you guys will let me know that a midfielder would have gone ahead to make more sense coming into the club of Manchester United than a goalkeeper in there. Empire Online TV, wow, finally United is doing it. Yeah, Lammens is in, and he's really going to be that goalkeeper for the club of Manchester United come this season in there. Tony Bunya, the hype of Lammens is the same with Beinda in time of bringing him in. Guys, you know, there is no goalkeeper who is really, there is no player in the world who is really good when he's playing off the bench. I understand Beinda is a very good goalkeeper, I really believe. But if he's playing off the bench, how is he obviously going to be that goalkeeper that we obviously want? I think if he gets in regular minutes, he will improve. And you'll find out that if United really let him go this summer, the lad might obviously find himself a club, and he might obviously resurrect his career from that side. You understand? So that's exactly what you people are really undermining. But the lad is that special. He's good. He's good. You know, he's good. Tony Bunya, anyways, wish him the best of luck. All right. Kaye Chabene Nicholas, I don't know if he can compete up to the highest level according to what have experienced at United and history of Man United. When you talk about the history of Manchester United, it's all about the history of goalkeeping at Manchester United, right? The history of goalkeeping at Manchester United has seen very many goalkeepers coming through, and they're really high-profile goalkeepers, and they've failed. You know, there is a goalkeeper who came from the World Cup. He was really a World Cup winner, known as Fabian Barthez. Came through at Manchester United season of 1998, 1999, and Fabian Barthez came in through and really became a nuisance at the club of Manchester United, and the manager was like, you need to leave. You understand? That's when United went ahead to bring in, to use the Quizaks of this world, that and the Carols, and then there came in Tim Howard, also left until he brought in Edwin van der Sar. That's when obviously went ahead to get instability into that goalkeeping department. Now, he comes in through when United is really in its worst goalkeeping history. And we really wish him the best to obviously come and really overturn this. That is Lmens into the mix. So from there, I'm having a Tony Bunya. We need a midfielder who can play with Kobe Mainoo. That is it. To me, it was the priority. And I've gone ahead to see very many people say, the goalkeeper is the problem. Now, let's wait and see. The goalkeeper is in. If you don't get in a midfielder, you let me know as we hit 10 games in the season. You remind my words, you remember my words, and you can clip it and obviously store it. You know, 10 games after this season, 10 games into this season, you let me know whether we needed a goalkeeper or a midfielder first. We wait. Chabene Nicholas, he seems to be average. However, Rokan David Bambi, I love you so much and miss you too. All right, thank you. I'm always in here to obviously do the broadcast that you guys want. Chabene, and these days I'm a bit perturbed with the team's performance for sure. I think all we have to do is, as fans of Manchester United, we just have to really sit in there. Let's give the manager benefit of doubt. Let him try out all what he wants to try out. Let's give him the years that he wants. To me, I believe we need to keep a manager here for a very long period of time possible. And it's 5 years that I've always gone ahead, obviously, call in for, because we've brought in managers and most of them have been sacked either in the second year or in their third year of their career at Manchester United. So I think we should do something that we haven't obviously gone ahead to do in the recent past. And what is that? obviously, there is something we haven't obviously gone ahead to do. It's all about keeping a manager here for so long and let him build his philosophy, let him phase out the players that he wants. Because when Louis van Gaal was obviously getting rid of all players that were not his, and he had built his own players, he was sacked and they brought in Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho got rid of most of the players of Louis van Gaal and brought in his, meaning that halted our building process, Then Mourinho was also sacked. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in through and brought in his own players. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got sacked. Erik Ten Hag came in through and Ten Hag brought in his own players. Ten Hag got sacked, and after getting sacked, we got in Ruben Amorim, and Ruben Amorim went ahead obviously getting his own players. So that's how perturbing this is at the club of Manchester United. So for me, I believe we should obviously get in a manager that is obviously going to long live here for some time, as we think. Chelimo Jeremiah, good to go, all right. Chebene Nicholas is watching me live from Barara, but smash like button close 100 times because we are really having very many people watching in here. You understand? So that is it for the side of Manchester United, and let's get to another one who is really exiting the club of Manchester United, and he goes by the names of Jadon Sancho. Here we go. Has obviously gone ahead to be pronounced by Fabrizio Romano. Breaking: Jadon Sancho to Aston Villa. Here we go. Deal in place on initial horn from Manchester United. Green light from Han United, and deal being sealed with 4 more steps to follow. Next, Sancho will join Aston Villa. So Jadon Sancho is joining Aston Villa. That is it. Jadon Sancho is joining Aston Villa, and he is really doing the needful, and he's obviously going to be playing in there for you. David Austin said Aston Villa on the verge of agreement to sign Jadon Sancho from Man United. Deal for 25-year-old winger to join Aston Villa on a long season loan, almost done between clubs and with England international. Man United retain option to extend contract June 2026 in there for you. So Manchester United has seen Jadon Sancho obviously leave and obviously go play for the side of Aston Villa into the mix. He's really one of those that I think hugely talented, but discipline has gone ahead to cost him. But let us obviously see him leave, and that makes it how many? 4 players at Manchester United that have gone ahead to leave that the club really wanted to leave, and they had shortlisted that. They are not obviously going to be part of the preseason. One of those was Rashford. He's at Barcelona. Garnacho, Chelsea. Anthony, Rio Betis. And now we are having a Jadon Sancho going to a club known as what's his name? Jadon Sancho is going out to a club called Aston Villa. But only 2 of these have gone ahead to leave permanently. That is Garnacho and Anthony. You understand? The rest are really on loan deals, but with obligations to buy. So we are waiting to see where Tyrell Malacia will obviously be playing next season. Will he be at Man United, or he will obviously go back to the Dutch side? And Rokan David, be realistic. How do you rate Ruben Amorim and other coaches that have been at Man United? I don't think that he's not a bad coach, but I think he's really one of those that is obviously going to face the hardest time. That is it. Though I still insist, however much Ten Hag has just gone ahead to be sacked by Bayern Leverkusen in just 2 games in, because I think Erik Ten Hag has been like, you people are really selling all the players, and you're not willing to reinforce the squad. You understand? They sold a player known as they sold Benjamin Taleft. You understand? They sold Florian Wirtz, I think for 150 million euros, right? They went ahead, obviously, getting a player known as, they sold Frimpong Hincapi has gone to Arsenal. They've sold like 5 players, and I think the manager has been like, get me in players, and they're like, we cannot obviously work under your pressure. Let's obviously part ways with you and see to it that we really get in another manager in there for you. But 2 games, he had played 2 games, 1 loss and really 1 draw. So they really parted ways in there. Red Devil says, good signing. I'm enjoying covering this transfer window today. All right, me too. I'm really trying to cover it up. And you can as well go to the Red Devil United channel. He's really good at really giving us his insight into the United side. And he's that good. I tell you, he is that good. Chebene Nicholas. And Amorim is the problem. Why is it that Arsenal is playing Jokeres and manager is not playing Benjamin Sesko? Good enough. We are only into the season, just 2 games, right? We still have 36 games to go. Let's wait and see from the international break, because I know the lad known as what's his name? The lad known as Benjamin Sesko is going to be representing for Slovenia. He'll get in those minutes, and we pray to it that after him getting those minutes, maybe the manager will obviously get a very good message that the lad deserves to obviously be into that side. Lastly, I'm having Peter Omondi. Wow. Dorosa, good signing. Thank you guys for watching in through. Rokan David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later. And you've been a nice audience in here. I think I'm obviously going to be recording another video. Then later, we'll obviously come and stream when Lammens to United is officially announced by the club of Manchester United. I'm out. Bye-bye. See you later.